Hey book buds, I'm back. It is Mackenzie here, and I am here today with a very exciting set of books. And one of the things that I love in addition to books and reading is Taylor Swift. So this is inspired by Taylor Swift and particularly her Evermore album. I've got my plaid on, I've got my little buns in, and like my calm, like Evermore-y makeup and all of that jazz. So it might not be a Taylor's version, but this one is Mackenzie's version. So I'm going to go through not all of her songs, but a good amount of them from the album and give them to a couple of books that I think that really go along with that and with the theme of each of her songs and kind of explain why. So if that's something that sounds good, stick around. We are going to start off strong with Taylor Swift's Gold Rush, and that song goes best with the Selection series by Kiera. So in this book, there's America and Maxon, and Prince Maxon is looking for a princess. And so there's a bunch of different girls from the kingdom that all come in and try to compete for his hand in marriage and to eventually be a princess, and America gets mixed up in that. And so it's the definition of Gold Rush because, you know, Taylor says, but I don't like a gold rush. I don't like anticipating my face in a red flush. Everybody wants you, but I don't like a gold rush. So everybody here is competing for Maxon's heart, and America's just kind of wound up in it. She doesn't really love that. She doesn't love that everybody's there competing for that. It just seems a little fake to her. Starting off strong with that. Alright, next up we have Champagne Problems, and that goes with The Worst Best Man by Sosa. And I love this book because the girl is left at the altar. Why do I say the girl? The main character's name is Carolina Santos, and Carolina is left at the altar by her fiance and has to move on from that. And so that really aligns with Champagne Problems and, you know, the dropped your hand while dancing, left you out there standing, crestfallen on the landing, champagne problems, right? So really aligns with that rather than the girl leaving the guy like in the song, how it's like, I left you there standing. It's the opposite. He leaves her standing at the altar, but it is still very interesting, aligns with that really well. I would say Champagne Problems defines like the first part of it with like how he left her at the altar, but then there's more that goes on after that and after she moves on from that. So that's just like one part of this story. Next up we have Nobody No Crime. So she thinks I did it, but she just can't prove it. They think she did it, but they just can't prove it. All about who thinks different people did what and can they prove it. So I couldn't choose just one book, and we've got two here. This is just the book cover because my hardcover book is downstairs and I was too lazy to get it. But Where the Crawdads Sing, it's a mystery. And so many people have read this book, so I don't even know if you need like a little niche about it. So they've got Kaya, and Chase Andrews is found dead, and then they're trying to figure out who did it. Everyone kind of suspects Kaya, but I don't know who did it. I'm not at the end of this yet, so can't tell you who did it. Everyone suspects Kaya. I don't know if it was her or not, but I guess I'm going to find out. And I caved and chose two. So the second one I chose was We Were Liars by Lockhart. And again, this is one where the beginning of the story starts and you're just not given the whole picture. So, you know, they've got a group of friends and there's a bunch of different secrets going on and trying to discover what's truth, what's fiction or fantasy, and what actually happened. So different people are blaming each other, and what actually went on. No body, no crime. Let's figure it out. We are on to, honestly, kind of a sad one. I love Evermore, like the actual song Evermore. It just touches my heart. I feel really connected to it. And Taylor says, "Gray November, I've been down since July. I had a feeling so peculiar this pain would be forevermore." And so it's just being really sad, being down in the dumps, having those problems, and feeling like they're going to last forever. And with that, I chose Believarexic by J.J. Johnson, and this is about a girl. Her name is Jennifer, so I believe this was actually written like about her own experience. But they've got Jennifer, and she has an eating disorder, and she checks herself in to get treatment and to get help, and it's just her battling that and feeling like that's going to last forever and trying to get better, but can she get better? It feels like it's going to last forever. So it's about her journey through that and her trying to get better and where she's at now. So this one I do not have the physical copy of. I read this on the Kindle, but Faking Under the Mistletoe I figured goes along with 'Tis the Damn Season, because 'Tis the Damn Season, it's one of the only holiday books that I've read, and with it being December, I couldn't skip out on this one, but also I don't have a lot to pick from because Faking Under the Mistletoe is one of the only ones that I've read. But that being said, I really enjoyed the book. It was really good. It was a fake dating type of thing, and I really, really enjoyed it. 'Tis the Damn Season. Merry Christmas, folks. Next up is Right Where You Left Me, and Taylor says, "I'm right where you left me. You left me no choice but to stay here forever." And I lined that with All We Left Behind by Ingrid Sundberg, because the main character in this story, Marion, she is stuck exactly where somebody has left her, in like that kind of mental state of everybody else around her is moving on, but she's just stuck going over and over and over the same thing again, and that's preventing her from moving on in her romantic relationships and just moving on as a young adult in general. And I can't say too much about this one because I don't want to spoil it, so that's all I will say, but I feel like Right Where You Left Me aligns with this really, really well, and this is one of my very favorite books anyways, so highly recommend that you check this one out. Another one that I do not have the physical copy of is The Dare by Elle Kennedy, and I aligned that to Cowboy Like Me. Takes one to know one. You are a cowboy like me. And The Dare is a fake dating situation, and one person needs the other to be their fake date. But there's, rather than just one person benefiting from it, like there is most times, both the characters benefit from the situation, and so they're both like cowboys like me. They're not looking for love or fancy cars. They're just trying to get through things, and they're actually very similar and in really similar situations, even though things are a little bit different and weird for them. That probably wasn't my best review, but I feel like they align very well, so look at it if you want to, or skip over it if not, but Cowboy Like Me, The Dare by Elle Kennedy. Okay, long story short, Taylor says, Miss Swift, queen, fell down the rabbit hole. Long story short, it was a bad time. Ugh. Tripped on my words a little bit there. Fell off the pedestal right down the rabbit hole. Long story short, it was a bad time. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and this one doesn't like completely line up as I had been hoping, but this is kind of like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so I don't really see it. I don't align it to that, but a lot of other people who have read it say that they see how it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. But basically, the main character, Fair, however you say her name, I say it differently in my head than I do out loud, just because I can name her whatever I want in my head, but Feyre gets taken to, yeah, to the fairy world, and yeah, so Feyre gets taken to the fairy world by Tamlin, and she fell down that hole of, she killed a wolf, she killed a fairy, and now she has to pay retributions for that. And so she fell down that rabbit hole. She has to go to the fairy land and pay retributions for that, and long story short for her, it's not a good time. She is captive in Tamlin's castle. So long story short, Court of Thorns and Roses. I loved this one. Love, love, love. Highly recommend. And last up, we have Happiness, and that's, there was happiness after you, but there was happiness because of you too. So I chose Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson, and it's all about a girl who, Taylor, who comes back to her hometown, or like her summer hometown, summer cabin, after being gone for a couple of years, and her next door neighbor, a boy who she had really liked, but they had conflict, like coming back and trying to solve that conflict because they got along a lot when they were younger, and then with them being separated and stuff, they don't necessarily get along quite as well anymore. So it's about her like trying to find peace with that and recognizing that there was happiness in those memories and having fun, but there's happiness after them too, and with trying to figure those things out. And I could not mention happiness without also mentioning The Great Gatsby, because Taylor says, I hope she'll be a beautiful fool and take your spot next to me. So I hope she'll be a beautiful fool. That goes straight with The Great Gatsby. I know so many people love this book. It wasn't really my jam. It's one of the only books that I annotated because I was required to for school, so I just really didn't enjoy that, because for me, when I have to read things for school, it definitely makes me like it a lot less. So do with that information as you will, but this definitely goes along with happiness just because of the mentions that Taylor says through there. Now, those are all of the books that I had planned to talk about today, but let me know if there was something that I didn't talk about that I should have, either if I missed a song that's one of your favorites, or if there is a book that you think lines up with the songs that I did choose better than the one that I chose. Don't know if that made sense, but you know what I mean. So this was really fun for me. I really liked lining up all of my favorite songs, all of the things from Taylor Swift, Queen, to some of my favorite books. So hopefully you enjoyed it as well, and I will catch you next time. Bye!